Welcome to the O Studio podcast, where we delve into the art of feeling better. My name is Maddie Lovell, and O Studio is a wellness franchise that's here to help you relax, recover, and improve your health and well-being. Today, we're joined by Cameron Mair, a leader in the AI space. We go beyond the hype to explore what AI is really about, how it's shaping our lives, and where it's heading next. A fascinating conversation with a true leader in the field. Enjoy.
Cam Mair, welcome to the O Studio podcast.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mate, well, it's so good to have you in here. We've been super excited about this conversation. Actually, AI is sort of an area that we've been trying to lean into for sort of a wee while now, actually. And I guess just to start things off, can you give us a bit of a sense of your background and sort of how you became so involved in AI?
Yep. So I work at the University of Canterbury, where I am the head of Data and AI Enablement. So my team kind of looks after all of the data engineering, a lot of the analytics, but also the AI enablement part. So we're not trying to own AI and do it all ourselves. What we're trying to do is actually enable everyone else to do it.
Yeah.
So we're providing the infrastructure, the right tools, the sort of the governance, the security, and just a bit of guidance around it.
Yep.
So we've been going for about the last 6 months. So
Yep.
It's kind of been a little bit of a slow burn, but yeah, it's certainly taken off.
What were you up to prior? What were you doing prior to getting into this?
So then I just looked after data and analytics.
Okay.
So we just did basically all the data engineering and dashboarding.
Yep.
So we did that for sort of the entire university.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've been there for 7 years. So I started as an analyst.
Yep.
And then I think I'm on like my 6th job at the
Yeah.
uni. So yeah, so now we're looking after this. So, and the whole thing is basically we're just going to keep looking at how we can just show everyone else how to use it themselves. That's kind of our big focus, because I think people get a bit daunted with it. But honestly, everyone's been using AI for a couple of years. They just haven't realized it.
Yeah.
And I think, like, we did a little thing yesterday where I just showed someone, this is how I would build this for you. And like, this person was super nice. They didn't realize it was Chat GPT. They're
Yep.
calling it GBT.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
I'm sure that's a thing.
A lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, we built something in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's going to save them 3 to 4 hours a week for that team
Yeah, wow.
in 15 minutes.
Yep.
And they could have built it all themselves, and all they needed was a tiny bit of guidance.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of our big focus at the moment. So
And have you had like an underlying passion in this area for a while? Like, is this sort of something, AI's exploded recently, and we'll
Yeah.
sort of get into that more. And is this something that you've sort of been watching for a while, and all of a sudden, like, it's here and you're just like, right, game on? Or is this something that's sort of come out of the blue a bit for you?
a little bit of both. Like, I've always been a little bit of a geek. So anything new and cool, I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome. So I'm like, and I love to do new things. So I get bored really easily. So I'll be like, the data analytics was great for a while, but you get into sort of a rut where you're like, all right, we're just doing the same thing. So as soon as this started coming on a little bit and people started accepting it a bit more, that it wasn't just a fad, it was, I think, a bit more accessible. I'm not a programmer. Like, I have guys on my team who are much, much smarter than I am. So as soon as it got to a stage where I was like, hey, I can actually do this myself. That's when it started. And because I showed such an interest, like, my boss was cool enough to be like, on you go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's come from. But yeah, like talking with you guys before, like, AI is nothing new. Like, I don't think there's so many people who like think, oh, it's just come out, it's only been around for 2 years since ChatGPT, and you look back and go, it's kind of been around since the 60s. People just didn't realize it. So there's so much history around it. It's just taken so much focus and precedence over the last 2 years, really.
That would be the biggest thing, I think, is people that are listening to this, and AI does still seem very new to them, and their experience may just be with just ChatGPT or PT. How would you explain AI? Like, what is the kind of, if you had to summarise to somebody that is just entering this space?
Okay, so to summarize something like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, they're called large language models. So when they first started, they were basically like, you get autocomplete on your texts. That's AI.
Yep.
So people just go, oh yeah, it's great. That's what it was doing. So what it started doing is it would just mathematically predict the next word that should be in a sentence. And that's all it was doing. It couldn't really think. It couldn't generate new things. It would just go, tell me about O Studio. And it would look up all the information it had and just basically mathematically go, here's all the words that should be in what order. And that's what it was doing. That's moved on now to the stage where it can actually do research. It can actually sort of almost kind of think for itself. But people have been using it for everything for years. Like, your recommendations on Netflix, that's all AI. How Google tells you how to get somewhere faster, again, that's AI. There's not someone in the background looking up where you're going and checking traffic conditions. So people just haven't realized that they've been using it for most tools. Like if you've got a Whoop band, or heavens forbid you've tried Garmin's version of AI, which is the worst AI I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
It is shocking.
Yeah.
Garmin should be ashamed of themselves.
Whoop? You're in Whoops out there just quietly, I'm a big Whoop fan.
I have a Whoop.
Yeah.
And I wore it for about 3 months. But I was like, I like to tell the time, but I also like to wear my Garmin.
Yeah.
I bag on them, but I still love Garmin. I couldn't wear two because I just felt like an idiot. So.
It's true.
Yeah, so
Tim was watching a Whoop.
Yeah, mate. It's just,
I did for 3 months, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Tim to come to that conclusion too.
Yeah.
I think, I think the Chat GPT thing is sort of like the popular forefront of it almost that most people see. Like you've talked about sort of AI being a bit more broad and something we've been around for far longer. And I've looked up, trying to understand the sort of level that this is and going to be. And I found a few quotes like Elon Musk called it supersonic tsunami. Nick Bostrom, who I'm sure you probably know, is a leading philosopher in AI, author of Superintelligence. He said that machine intelligence is the last invention humanity will ever need to make. Like, from your point, like, how big in the scale of human existence is the introduction of AI?
Like fire. Like, realistically. Like, our kids, like my kids are 3 and 7, they're never going to not know AI. Like, it's you got this generation who never knew the internet. Like, I remember when the internet came out, and it was like, this is insane, and you dial up, and a page took 3 minutes to load. You just take it for granted now, and I think the same thing's going to happen. A lot of the stuff I sort of say when I talk to people is, at the moment, and this is only at the moment, AI isn't going to replace you, depending on what job you do. But someone who's good with AI, they guarantee will replace you, and very soon. So people who aren't using this for day-to-day jobs, I just don't see a place for you. Unless, you're a plumber, then you're sweet,
And even being a plumber, there's probably lots of things that you can do to help with your just everyday.
Well, this is it. I think, in terms of what it's going to do for people, honestly, it's endless. It's going to just massively increase everything from the research we do for medical. You think experiments that would have taken, scientists a couple of years will now be done in minutes. There's just so many applications for this that it's insane. But, what's the negatives going to be? There are going to be jobs very soon that we just don't need. So, unfortunately, that's just going to be the case. If you're doing a general sort of administration type role, data entry, if you're an entry level in certain industries, there's going to be very little demand for you. Because if we can have a tool do what you do for no cost or very little cost in a fraction of the time, it's going to be tough. And it's going to massively change things. So even working at the university, you look at it and go, in 10 years' time, the university will not be the same as it is now. This is my opinion. This isn't the opinion of the university. Because it's not. Like, what you teach in 10 years' time is going to be so vastly different than what it is now.
And I really want to get into the fear around it later on, like, just because it is there. It sits there. There's lots of real worries and concerns around it. But I've definitely got the same approach. Like, I remember talking to my girls last year and saying to them, you need to be leaning into this as much as possible. And I know that schools are real hesitant in the space at the moment around it, and there's validity to that, that it's, you don't want it doing all of your thinking for you. And I've even noticed in myself, I think a little bit, I'm sort of defaulting to it sometimes when I need to get a bit more feedback on something. And so I can see the risks around that, but generally speaking, my mindset to AI has been you have to lean into it as much as you possibly can, because if you don't, you're just making your life harder. You're making your job, you're less productive, you're less accurate.
Yeah.
You're less, I don't know, as a tool, I've been really, really encouraging of our girls to lean into it as much as they can too.
Yeah.
Would you say that we're still at the start of this sort of exponential growth?
Absolutely. Like, if you look at how quickly, like, and throughout this, we'll probably talk about ChatGPT as a general sort of term for AI, because they're the biggest. But if you look at how bad the model was 2 years ago and how good it is now in just 2 years, you give it another 2 to 4 years, it's going to be insane, like absolutely insane. We are not far off everyone having their own custom agent. So you'll have an agent on your phone and you will just ask it to do stuff. Hey, I'm meeting the guys at O Studio later on. I need you to book me an Uber. It needs to pick me up at this time. Just text me when it's here. And it will just do it all for you. It will connect to your bank account. You won't have to do anything. Imagine like the best personal assistant you could ever have. And it will connect to everything that you have access to. And as long as you've given it the right permissions, it will just do all of that for you. Hey, do my weekly shop for me. You know what I want to eat. It will do it. Like, that's how good it will be. So, it is next level. But you're sort of saying about worrying about people getting lazy. Like, remember when you're at school and they're like, you have to do all your maths. You're not going to have a calculator in your pocket, like, when you drop, I can't do long division and stuff in my head.
Look who's laughing now, Mrs. Baker.
Well,
That's me, eh?
That's exactly it, but nor do I need to.
Yeah.
I mean, you look now, the phones we have more processing power than the computers they use to land the guys on the moon. That's how fast things have gone on. But if you look in the workplace, like the first iPhone was released in 2009? Productivity in the workplace has not increased since then at all. So
that's so interesting.
We are as productive as we were then.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So
you think this will change that?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it doesn't, then I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because you look at stuff and you go, like, I get so much more done in a week now with using AI. I use it for everything.
And when you say use AI,
Yeah.
like, again, I think it's sort of just like ChatGPT is a default here.
Yeah.
When you say use AI, are you meaning, can you give us a broader context of how else it can be used for someone who only knows ChatGPT, i.e. us?
Oh, yeah. So you can use it for pretty much anything. If you look at basically every app you use nowadays, they all have some sort of AI functionality. I think at UC, of the last 3 months, we've had 300 different AI tools being used. So you've seen the presentations that I've done.
Yes.
They're all built with AI. And I tell people that at the time. And I would go through my process of, this is how I do a presentation. I don't know how to use PowerPoint and make it really pretty and add all like the graphics and do all of this. So I go step by step through. This is how I sort of talk with an AI tool. And then I'll go back into this different AI tool. And then eventually I'll put it into this. And I'll say, this is what I want it to look like. This will build a PowerPoint far better than anything I could ever do in 30 seconds. And it's so easy to use.
And so you're jumping between different AI tools.
Yeah,
so when you say, so that I think that's probably maybe the gap in knowledge, I think, for a lot of people, is that people just think that AI is ChatGPT. But the reality is that ChatGPT, it'd be like saying that, Facebook is your iPhone or whatever. So there's an app on there. And so you're saying there's different AI bits of software that you can use for different things.
Yeah. So some are far better at different tasks than others. So you have ones like Claude is very good at sort of programming stuff. Gemini is also really good. So there are different LLMs for these big tools. So obviously you've got ChatGPT, which is the one that everyone kind of knows. Some of them are better at other things. So especially, in the sort of the academic world that we're doing, is we have different sort of academics who like different tools because one might be better at creative writing. One might be better at something else. One is better at image creation. So if you look at all of these, like, there's a different tool for anything that you sort of want to start doing. You look at like this podcast. If you go, okay, cool. Well, actually, I didn't really like the stuff that Cameron was talking about earlier. There are very simple tools now where you just clone my voice and go, actually, cool. Now he's talking about how much he loves going to O Studio and he's got a membership and banging on about it. Like, he gets to go all the time now, uses AI for. It's so easy for you to do. I could show you how to do it and it'll take you about 10 minutes. The video editing. So I went on holiday recently and we do big room planning every 3 months. So every 3 months we stand up, like the other sort of people in the leadership team, and we say, look, this is my area. This is what we did this like quarter. This is what we planned for next quarter. So I was in Italy, so I couldn't go. So I built an AI avatar. So they just play that on screen and it's just me, my face, my voice, talking through it all from Italy. But I just made it a few days before I went and just added it. So they just had to press play.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm not a programmer. I cannot do any of that. But it's so easy to use. Like, all the deep fake stuff, it is so easy.
Yeah.
So.
What are like the top 5 AI tools that everyone should be using? You're delving into all these different worlds, different things. Are there top 5 AI applications that everyone should be utilizing?
Kind of depends on what you want to use it for. So the stuff that I do, ChatGPT is the number 1 tool I use. But a lot of that is because we're focusing on that as a productivity tool for multiple people. We build a lot of custom GPTs, and it's very secure, and we can do it that way. So if anyone's going to start, just go in there and use the free one. Use that or Claude or Gemini. So they're all very similar in terms of their functionality. So they'll be able to do like most things. So I guess it's very dependent on what you want to use it for. So, there's so many like really good like health and fitness ones, loads of ones around meditation, things like that people are using. I think Mindscape now, that's all AI. So there's loads of really cool ones as well about building your own podcasts. Say you found a topic or a really cool paper that you're like, oh, I'd love to read this paper. I mean, I don't know who would find a really long paper that they're very excited about. But if you did, you can put it in and just have a conversation like this going on instantly, where you don't actually have to read it. You're like, oh, I can actually go mow the lawn and listen to this. So in terms of naming the top 5, that's really tough because it's purely dependent on what you're into.
Yeah.
One thing I think listening to you previously was just thinking a bit more outside the box on how you can utilise it. Like I think you told a story about your children wanting a different story each night. So you'd just pop into ChatGPT, say to the kids, what characters do you want? Where do you want it to be? So what's happening? And then put that detail in, and then you get a brand new story every single night.
Very cool.
It is like stuff that you kind of don't think to be branching out and utilising in that way. But
yeah. Do you think it'd be fair to be like, figure out where you need support? If that's the starting point, it's like, what do you actually need? Like, so if I was to put our lens on this at the moment, one of the real challenges we have with this industry, this recovery and wellbeing sort of industry, is that it's really hard to, like, what is a sauna doing to you? What's an ice bath doing to you? What's taking time to manage your stress? How's it actually impacting you? And so if we compare that to sort of the physical fitness space, people can see that they're making gains in their strength, or they're decreasing their weight, or they're, these, and so we've got things like Whoop and Oura Ring that can track and see what's going on. But how do we integrate something like that really nicely into our service offering so that customers can see what they're actually getting when they come in the door? They come in and spend 45 minutes in a sensory deprivation environment where they're completely relaxed. And as they leave, they're like, wow, that's what's just happened to me. Or they come in and do a sauna and ice bath session, and they can see, like, real tangibly what's actually going on within their body before they leave or after they leave. I'm really interested in seeing, like, that's a problem I want to solve, and I know AI should be able to help us. In fact, there probably is a solution there now ready for us. Is that a fair...
Well, I think that you sort of hit the nail on the head with, you've already come up with your problem. Like, the amount of people that come and talk to me going, hey, I think I should be using AI. Cool, what for? They're like, don't know. But we were not using it, so we feel like we should. Like, that's like coming to me and saying, hey, we should use Excel. For what? If you don't have a problem, don't look for one. AI is so good at exactly that. You could go, oh, well, actually, I want to tie this in with, can we have access to your Garmin data or your Whoop data? And we'll start tracking that, and we can actually look at, what's your heart rate variability? What was your heart rate before you came in? Your breathing rate, that sort of stuff. Or do we want to go, actually, we want some sort of journaling function, so you can actually prompt the person when they come in and go, how are you feeling? And they can feel, well, I'm talking to an AI. I'm not talking to one of you guys. I don't have to feel self-conscious. You could say to them, look, none of the data leaves this. Only you read it. We're not going to see it. And then they could actually have that conversation afterwards. You could have, another conversation and go, cool, you've just done your sauna and ice bath. We're going to tell you what your physical stats are that we've got from your devices. How are you feeling in the following ways? Do you feel less of this or more of this or whatever? So there's so many different things that you could incorporate in there. And I think a lot of it, people, like, I know with the journaling ones, there's that's a massive thing at the moment. So that some of those companies are going huge because people don't feel that sort of shame of telling someone, I'm not okay. So I think that's quite cool.
Yeah.
So there's so much you could do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We owe AI.
Exactly. Well, that's what I thought. We Dr. O. What is that then? How do I use this stuff?
Yeah.
What do I do? What should I be doing? I've got this going on in my life. This is the stuff I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
Give me some recommendations. And once again, I know they're out there, but it's how we see tens of thousands of people coming through our studios in New Zealand each year. You know, and it's like, I would love to be able to give them more insight into what's actually going on.
Well, this is it. So a lot of that stuff, people go out looking for a solution. They go, there must be a solution that kind of fits. And you'd end up with something that, 60%. You'll be like, okay, cool, it's kind of got a bit of this. Building that stuff yourself now is getting to the point that you're like, you could do it. You'd need some guidance.
Yeah.
But it's not out of the realms of the possibility that you could go, we actually built this in-house. Like, we got some help, but we didn't have to get an okay off-the-shelf tool that sort of met half of our needs, or use two separate tools. You could incorporate it into one.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of companies I see spending huge amounts of money on GPT wrappers, where you're going, you've just spent $50,000 on something that took an hour to build. I could have built that for you, and you could have bought me a beer. And instead you just spent 50 grand on that.
What if I buy you 2 beers?
And then,
One thing I was thinking is, you talked about sort of identifying a problem. And I was just thinking about that whilst you were talking. One thing you can use ChatGPT for, I think, really well, is to explain what you do and then get it to suggest areas that you could be utilising AI. Like, I was trying to think about the answer to my question that I asked you. And I was thinking, well, AI is the answer for it. Like if you said that I currently own a dog cleaning business and we're based in this suburb and we've got this many people, we've got capacity for this, these are the software systems we currently use, these are some of our restrictions that are impacting our growth, these are some opportunities that I see, these are some other nearby businesses or whatever. What systems or AI opportunities could I be utilising with a very small amount of time that I'm free to dedicate to this that could help grow our business?
Absolutely.
And then it would then give you some of those alternate options.
Yeah. I think that's it. Because if you look at, so ChatGPT is great at the moment because it's got memory function. So it learns who you are. So when I first started using it, I just basically had a script. And most of the time when I use ChatGPT, I talk to it. So I don't type. And I just talk absolute rubbish. And I'll just say, look, this is who I am. This is my job. This is my team. This is what we're trying to do. And it learns who you are. So now, if I create something else and it says, who does that role report to? I can just say me. I don't have to say my name and my job title. It knows who I am. It also knows that what my focus is in terms of my personal life, my work stuff, and it makes everything sort of relate to that. It doesn't give me, doesn't talk to me as if I am somebody else. It knows that, this is your job. So therefore I'm going to do it this way, or it knows I love mountain bikes, so it will talk to me that way when I'm talking about that. So it is pretty clever. So that's exactly what I would recommend doing. It's like when people who've used AI and they go, oh, it's not very good though. I didn't get a good outcome. 90% of the time, that's because you gave it a crap prompt. And that's what it is. People you can't give it a 2-word prompt and be like, hey, write me a job description for an assistant. Legitimately, what do you expect to get out of that?
It's like what you're saying is, it's like a hammer is a great tool, but not if you can't have any arms. You know what I mean? It's I think the same thing. I remember when Google came out, and I was when I was trying to get it was my nana. I was like, you can use Google to search anything, and she's like, I tried. Google's not very good. I was like, well, Google's not very good if you don't know how to use it properly. And I think one of the interesting things I think about AI at the moment is we're in this interesting period of time where it's not being utilised widely enough, and therefore the people that are using it have an unfair advantage in the market.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're exactly right. So my dad retired at 55, and he gets lots of projects in his mind. So he's doing one at the moment where he's trying to fight them forestry people.
It's great.
Doing something, I can't remember what it is, near his house. But he's been doing it for years. And I was telling him about this, and he's like, I think it's a fad. I think it's going to phase out. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, it's really not. So eventually got him to start using it. And I did explain, I was like, when you're prompting, tell it what you want to do first. Hey, I want you to read this document, provide notes on this, and do whatever. But ask it to prompt. So you ask, like, whatever tool you're using, ask it to write the prompt for you. Because it will write a much better prompt than you could ever write. So if you start it with, hey, I want you to write a prompt that does the following. And you can just turn the microphone on and just talk to it and say, I want you to read this, give me notes, give me feedback, tell me if it's any good. And then I want you to put it into another Word document and that I can send off to Dave so he can review it. It'll rewrite that prompt for you and it'll be amazing. But if you just, give it a crappy one of like, hey, read this document and give me notes. Great, you've given it zero context.
Yeah.
Like, what is it you actually want from this?
Yeah, asking it to write the prompt was a game changer for me, because I was thinking about this in relation to when we all walked into a library for the first time and there was so many books and categories and alphabetical order listings and whatnot, and no one knew where to, like, if someone said go and find Wind in the Willows and you hadn't been told how to use the library, you'd be in there for a long time with slow results. But understanding we were taught that. So I think there's not really a space at the moment where society is being shown and taught how to utilise this effectively or efficiently. And that's some of the things that you did. So getting it to write the prompt or asking it how best to ask a question, essentially. The other one was the impact just on all of those not great prompts had on the consumption of power, petrified me. So I've been much better at that now. We can maybe circle back to that later if we have time. But also, I think because there's not a space where we're being actively taught this, because it's sort of speeding into education and everywhere else so quickly, this is a bit of a missing link, I think. So it is great that you're on talking about this, I think.
Yeah, you talked about a lot of places that AI's already, in our lives. It has been for a while. Like, are there any places that we're not aware? Do you think, is there still a lot of, what's the word? Do you think, even the fact now, I think some like tele operators are not even people. Like I think there's a concern there for, and maybe that's more of a moral thing really. It's like, when does using AI need to be disclosed to people? Like some of the simple things like text, auto prompt. It's like, okay, well, that's a benefit that we can all understand with. But there's probably a line somewhere where we have to disclose that AI is being used. And, so for example, like if you use it on an email, like, do you need to put at the end of the email, like, this was optimized with AI? Like, and then what's the consequence of that? Yeah. Like, are there some moral boundaries in this field that you think it's sort of waving in and out of?
That's probably like the toughest AI question, is the whole sort of morals and ethics part. In my role, I stay out of that entirely. Like, because I work in the academic field. And again, my role is to provide people with access to tools. So this is how I always say it. So we're rolling out something for education. It's called Cogniti, built by the University of Sydney. And what that does is it allows staff to build agents and share them with their students. So you can be like, cool, I built one for you. You can use it on this course. You don't have to worry about, I shouldn't be using AI to do it. This is for you. Go nuts. So those are the cases for, like, from that moral standpoint where students actually get that sort of, oh, okay, cool, I'm okay. Because we have so many courses where someone will be like, yeah, it's a tool, use it, go nuts. You're going to need it in work. So, yeah. But we have other courses where people are like, absolutely not. You use this, like, I'm going to fail you.
AI detector.
Well, yeah, I'll get onto that. That one is interesting. So, yeah, so morally, it's very difficult in that education space. But in day-to-day life, like you say, the amount of scam calls now, which will just be AI. Long gone are the need for those, Cambodian,
call centers.
Yeah. Where people are basically kept prisoner and forced to try and scam you. There will just be AI doing this. But you also have to think about, all of the information being gathered about you. You look at something like DeepSeek. So DeepSeek, the Chinese model that came out, very impressive. But it stores everything that you put into it, down to your keystrokes. So it will try and match other things that you've done online with this online persona it's made of you. And then basically they store all of that and then they sell that to other companies. So they will try and build an online persona of you that they can then sell. So in terms of, but look all the deep fake stuff, like talking like with you guys, especially in sports and things and like celebrities, people in the public eye, the deep fake stuff is very, very difficult, you know.
Well, it feels like it's almost like in 6 months, we're not going to know if a video is real or not. No. That's what it sort of feels like. It's like if we see any video anywhere online in 6 months' time, it's not going. We're not going to know whether it's real or whether that's been created by AI. Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's not that hard to do. Like it used to be, like, you know, back in the day, you'd see a Photoshop picture of someone, and you're like, that is awful. Whereas now, it is not that difficult to make a very realistic like video of someone.
Well, this is where my sort of question comes from a little bit, because, you know, to put the sort of ethics and morals of it to the side for a sec, I think we're all aware of those concerns. That you know, we all have those concerns, and yet we're all really encouraging of its development. So what's driving that? What's driving us to be so flippant with where it could potentially become such a challenge? Like, it's going to take all our jobs, and we're not going to know what's real, and it's going to cause havoc, or potentially, and it could get completely outside of our control, where the difference between the intelligence level between our smartest human beings and AI is just, it's us to an ant.
Oh yeah.
Like, so why are we so free to give it everything? You know what? Why are we going down this path?
I don't have an answer for you. I mean, the number one answer is probably me money.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot of money to be made.
Money, ease.
Like, you know, you look at someone like OpenAI, and they started off as a non-profit, but you have Sam Altman driving around in a Lamborghini. It's like, how's that non-profit going? Obviously pays pretty well. So it's all money. I mean, but again, there are so many positives that if it is used well. So yeah, like anything, that you're going to have massive negatives. You know, there's a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Unless you are doing something that involves, you know, a trade or, you know, the kind of stuff that you guys do, where AI can't do that. You can't just have an empty studio that people go into and just jump into a sauna and they're fine. You know, you need some human interaction in certain areas, and you're always going to have that. But there are certain jobs, like, you know, give it a couple of years. Are you really going to need an accountant? Like Xero will probably do everything for you once it gets, like, you know, their AI gets good enough. Like,
I think there's the risk and reward is probably the answer, is that at the moment the perceived risk of leaning into it is completely outweighed by the reward that you get from it, whether that's financial or time or whatever it is. And I think that I agree with you, Tim. Like, we are leaning into this heavily without really even understanding the consequences. And I think that if you go back in history, there's probably similar things that have happened where there's been a group of people or societies or communities that have thought the same. You know, I'm sure when the internet first came out, there were lots of people that had concerns, and that's just a tool that can be utilised for good as much as it is negative. And I would say that the good outweigh the negative, you know, opportunities for the internet, at least in the world that we operate in. You know, I'm sure when tractors started being used for agriculture instead of horses, there were probably lots of people going, well, what's going to happen to the horse trainers or the riders?
Well, even then, I mean, you look at that one from farming, and it completely changed the countryside. You had farmers who would have heaps of kids because you had free labour. No longer needed that. So the amount of families that then moved into cities. So we had a complete population shift in that. Like, you look at the internet and go, how many shops did that kill? How many businesses died? But then how many businesses started? And it's the same sort of thing here. You sort of look at it and go, yeah, a lot of people might lose their jobs, but if AI gets good enough, can it work out clean energy? Can it cure cancer? Can it do all of these things? So eventually you could get to a stage where you go, hang on, we actually have free power. There's basically no disease. I mean, this is a long way in the future, obviously. So there are so many different things. So I think having that sort of idea of what might happen, I still think we're way too early to tell. You know,
it seems to be like, as you guys just touched on, like those big changes, like fire, you know, or the Industrial Revolution, or whatever it was. These the internet sort of coming in. It seems to be like two big things happen. One, it frees up time to enjoy things a little bit more. Yep. You know, it carves out a little bit more time in your day that you don't have to be out in the field for 12 hours. You might be able to be out there for 9 hours, you know, and so there's the 3 extra hours that it's giving you to do something better. So what I'm always big on with the girls is like the time that it gives you've got to replace that time with something that's actually adding more value somewhere else rather than just filling it with TikTok or filling it with something that's not helpful. So that's one area I think we've got to be really careful around. Secondly, it frees up time to sort of create. It seems to be free up time within, if you zoom out, that it frees up time to enjoy, but it frees up time to create something new as well. And I mean, so I think that's the way we've got to see it. It's like, yes, it's going to hurt industries, it's going to change society, but with that time that it's going to free up as how are we actually making our lives better? Yep. And how are we actually trying to create something new? Yeah. I think
that's probably my biggest, I love that's exciting, but it's probably my biggest concern for myself and human beings is will we replace it with good choices, that time? Because I think it's kind of, it's hard because I've resisted the space. I'm not massively great with technology anyway, but I think I resisted it because I like the things that it does really well. It's like I don't love cleaning my bathrooms, but I do like creative writing, you know?
Oh, forget AI to clean my bathroom.
So it's almost like I think some people see it's filling a space that people actually have really appreciated. Like it's, we were talking about this the other day, you know, you read a CV and a cover letter for job applicants now, and they come in and then you can instantly tell they didn't write that because they can't, you know, articulate or hold a conversation to the same level, you know, from the letter that you've read, the cover letter that you've read. And it is like, the risk is in outsourcing the evolution of human language to something else, and then we become quite sedentary, insular human beings. I think that's the hardest thing. So I think it is a responsibility of, I don't know, parents and people to encourage that it is, exactly what you just said. It's filled with something else that's positive.
Yeah, and that, anything could be the same though. Like you know, when you know there's been lots of advancements for children over the last 100 years, and I think it's like lots of time's been saved, and it's like it's probably a very overarching sort of idea that lots of time's been saved over the last couple hundred decades by human beings making efficiencies,
absolutely.
And it's like good people will probably use the spare time to do good things, and bad people will probably use the spare time to do bad things. Well,
this is it, and I kind of think we're at sort of a point with AI where it is more work focused. You know, there isn't a whole lot in my personal life that I will save time with AI doing. Like, you know, I'm still going to go ride my bike. I'm still going to like play football with my kids, do all of that stuff. AI is not going to replace that.
No.
But what AI will do is, you know, save me having to read cover letters. Like I've done the recruitment for my area for 6 years. I've never once read a cover letter, even before AI. So anyone who's writing cover letters,
like damn it.
Yeah. So things like that. Like at the moment, so at work, like we've built custom GPTs that do things like they will write all the position descriptions. So we don't have to do that anymore. Like here's all the position descriptions I've done over the last years. Here is the role. Here's the main bits. It's done. It's already in a perfect Word format. We're good to go. So things like that, I think, is where at the moment we're saving the time. Unless you are self-employed and you have to do a hell of a lot of paperwork after you go and do your jobs. So maybe for those tradies who are self-employed, doing all your billing, you know, look like chasing up jobs, doing quotes, doing all of that, it can massively help you in those areas. But for someone like me who has like a 9 to 5, it doesn't do much in that area to free up me to have, like to free up stuff I do in my spare time anyway.
It's a really good point.
So it's kind of like, yeah, it's great if it can give you more time, but for me, most of that time is more work time. So it just means I do more work.
Got ya.
So at no point am I like, cool, now I don't have to make dinner.
Yeah.
Like some stuff it might be able to, because you might go, hey, I've got this 5 things, what can I make? And it will tell you.
I've done that.
Yeah, see? Perfect. So, but I think we probably will get to that stage. But also I think it's very dependent on what it is you do. So, like,
Yeah, it's a really, really good point. You talked about sort of like the art of writing cover letters, for example, is now lost, or even in the last 6 years, apparently has been not worth a heap of time.
I apologise to anyone who sent me a cover letter.
Your cover letter. But like, if we're looking forward, like, what are skills that you think are going to be most valuable for people? So if we take cover writing off the list, or like pretty much any form of writing, probably creative writing off the list, what skills are employers or organisations or communities or clubs going to be looking at for other people to have that are going to provide the most value to them?
If it's using AI, it's subject matter knowledge. So if you look in the future at, say, like back to farming, the people who are going to design, the farming equipment or the tractors that do it all for you, it's not going to be a programmer, because you won't need a program. You will just tell an AI what it is you want to do. So who are you going to ask to do that? You're going to ask the guy who knows the most about farming. This is what I need you to do, and this is why. I need you to start at this time, finish at this time. If this happens, stop. If this, weather pattern comes in, continue, or do whatever. That's who's going to be vital. So subject matter expertise in anything is going to be absolutely key. But also communication. Like I said to you guys, you guys are the best people to use AI because you're good at communicating. It's what you do for a job. If you're a good communicator, you're going to be absolutely great with AI. You look at a lot of people who are super, super smart programmers and doing all of that stuff now, who perhaps aren't so good in one-on-one conversations. They wouldn't be as good as someone who doesn't know anything about AI, but is very good at communicating. Because it's all about explaining what it is you want and why.
Yes.
And if you can do that, we are not far off AI just doing all of that for you. Well, as we're using a Claude Pro account at work at the moment, you can tell it to build you a website. So one of the data scientists I've been doing stuff with, he got it to build a website which then had a realistic model of Earth with every Starlink satellite in its exact orbit, telling you how fast it was going and what its tag number was. And it did it all in about 10 minutes.
Unbelievable, eh? Did anyone watch Country Calendar on the weekend?
No.
This is showing my age, but I
didn't
love
see
that
that
show.
one.
But they had these, it was a milking, like a dairy farm, and it was all mechanical AI. Came in, read the tag on the neck, tells you everything about the cow. The cows aren't milking in like the morning and the afternoon. They're milking any time they want, and they're quite nocturnal. So cows super chilled, happy. They just walk into this little thing, get a little feeding bucket. The little things come down and attach themselves, and reads the temperature of the cow so they can tell if there's any signs of infection. Super low rates of mastitis. So this farmer now is not having to bring in all the cat. Like, it's just unbelievable, like how advanced it was. But he's still farming. He's still, but almost he was saying it's a deeper care for the animals because they know them on a much more, detail orientated level. But it's hard to imagine. I think that's the biggest thing for people like me is it's hard to imagine where this will go in each individual industry. But I think you're right. Communication, human connection will still be absolutely key on it. But hopefully around that we'll get lots of those other things.
I did not expect you to say that. And I really like that you did. I did not expect you to say that the core skills that will be most valuable in an AI-driven world is human communication. I think that gives me hope a little, a bit more excitement for it. Because I think...
Because they'll still need the knowledge of the actual task, won't they? So that's why I did hear you say that before, and I think that's so important to think about.
Yeah, because it's like a teacher, right? Like a teacher needs two things. They need the specific knowledge and they need the ability to communicate it appropriately. Yeah. There's no point having the knowledge not being able to communicate, and there's no point being able to communicate without the knowledge. And so you're kind of saying it's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's always going to be some element of human interaction. So, for example, look at getting a contract written up. You could go to a lawyer and be charged, whatever it is, or you could have AI write it in 30 seconds. But are you going to 100% trust your AI written contract, or are you going to ask a lawyer to look it over to make sure it's actually okay? So you might have less people in certain roles, but you're always going to have those subject matter experts who you can go, okay, cool. I've got someone to look over this. I mean, that will probably change when you get to a level where you start going, okay, it actually knows more than us. I mean, if you look in like the medical field, so reading X-rays, AI is so much better than people now, like 10 times better than people. Yet we still have doctors go, well, we better check it, because we're not at a level where people actually are willing to accept, oh no, the AI said I'm fine, or no, that I have a broken bone or cancer or a tumor or whatever it is. But it can pick up things so much faster. So I think there will be always that human interaction and someone, you'll always want a human opinion. Maybe in several generations you won't, when you've...
Well, it feels like it would go that way, wouldn't it? Like even for something like flying a plane.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you want to know that there's a pilot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm pretty sure they can fly by themselves.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So,
it's surely there's going to get to a time where it's safer to not have a pilot sitting in the cockpit.
I mean,
you know, like that it would actually be safer. I could realistically conceive that would be a safer option because you're just removing all human error, and it's just all best decisions possible, reacting to any possible situation that's going on in front of you.
It's like responsibility and accountability. Like that would be the biggest thing. As soon as it can turn to, it actually lands back on somebody's lap if something goes wrong. I think, because that's the human element, isn't it? You've got something tangible there to be like.
But this is it. But in that
situation,
you're probably never going to have an AI, turn off your fuel pumps.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's the point I'm trying to get at. There. It's like theoretically you should be able to trust an AI better than a human. You know, once again, I'm trying to chuck the theoretical.
Well, this
situation.
is it. I mean, like I mentioned it to you guys. So the number of people who say please and thank you when they talk to AI,
I do.
So do I. And I've stopped now because listen.
Well, yeah. So Sam Altman, who's the head of OpenAI, I think it said it cost him $25 million in electricity from people saying thank you, because it replies you're welcome.
Wow.
That's processing power every time you do it. But I know people who legitimately say please and thank you in case AI takes over.
Yeah.
And they're like, but that guy was polite to us. So he's fine. Everyone else, you're gone.
Yeah. Polite, so ranking high on
exactly.
the list of
But
importance.
I think like AI is good at interpreting data.
Yeah.
And then making a decision. Like if you think if you put your doctor's lens on, it can read your X-ray, it can look at your blood results, it can do all this. It can't, at the moment, tell her that you're scared on the other side of the conversation.
There's no empathy.
The plane can look at the weather, it can look at the altitude, it can look at all those things. It can't figure out that something happened really bad yesterday in another aeroplane and everyone on the board's thinking about that. And that's where I think, we're kind of needing that interwovenness. It's like there's the ability to interpret data and give, portray that into consolidated answer, which is what a medical professional kind of does. But the human element that you like about your doctor is that, if they're a good one, is that they care about the rest of what's going on. They can tell that you've got a child sitting next to you, and that that how's what's happening for you impacting your child. I can see that she's scared. And I think that's maybe the crossover. I think where we always want the pilot in the cockpit, because if something happens, then there's that element to it. And so maybe it's more about how can the AI reduce the human element that's required.
Well, I'd even go to say that I can perceive that an AI trained properly to read cues and empathy is going to be better than any doctor ever at reading every situation and know the right things to say in the right ways.
Oh, you will be surprised. People are already working on it.
Yeah.
And we are probably not realistically that far away from like an AI that can actually empathize with you and, from everything. Like from, because you think all of the data it'll be able to gather. Like, I can't tell how hot you are right now, but an AI will be able to.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, I can't tell what your breathing rate is, but it will be able to. It'll be able to look at your pupil dilation. Like, so many things it'll be able to look at and go, oh, okay, all of this means, you're likely this.
Yeah. And potentially the AI pilot like speaking really clearly over the microphone.
But this is it. But like you're saying,
so clear.
Like, we're so lucky in New Zealand that you can actually go and see a doctor. Like, my parents live in the UK. They don't get to see doctors.
Yeah.
Everything is via Zoom. Everything. If you want to go see a doctor, then you pay. It's private. You have to pay a significant amount of money to go and see a private doctor. There are no in-person visits anymore.
Wow.
So when you get to that stage, and they are so rushed that it's like you have 10 minutes and then you're gone. I'm sorry, I've got another patient. You're gone. There's under so much pressure, at that stage, I'd almost rather have an AI. I'm like, in all honesty, AI is so good now. If I have something wrong with me, I can tell you what's wrong with me. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I would like a second opinion, but most of the time, like, I'm terrible that I would do that. If I could prescribe myself whatever I thought I needed, I would just do that.
Well, that's the thing. And
So
Dr. Google's already been around for long enough.
well, this is it. But AI is just Dr. Google on steroids.
Yeah.
now,
So,
a year later,
yeah.
so like, and this is growing. It's growing exponentially. That's the thing I think we can't quite compute.
Yeah.
It's like that in 6 months, in 2 years,
Yeah.
in 5
Like,
years.
do you remember?
It's just
Do you remember Theranos?
Theranos. Oh yes, the lady.
You know, when you had to do a prick of blood.
Yeah.
And you put in a little machine and it tells you everything about you.
She
You know,
got-
if you've got any diseases, it's in prison at the
Yeah.
moment. But there was the typical sort of, fake it till you make it thing, didn't quite get there.
Mhm.
If she'd done that now,
Yeah.
she'd be sweet.
She'd be done.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because AI would have gotten you to a stage where you're like, oh, okay, wow, like this actually did pick up a whole load of stuff.
Mm.
And there are a lot of companies working on that sort of stuff now where we're not that far away, where you could just, one prick of blood and it will tell you if you have XYZ.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's moving so quickly.
Yeah, and I think that's what I talked about before. The example of a doctor, can answer symptoms, read X-rays, read blood tests. It can't interpret that you're scared. And what you said, Tim, was like it can't yet. And then what you said, Cameron, was that what the human being isn't doing is interpreting a lot of other data. And which is the pupils are dilated, the temperature's gone up, the body language has changed, whatever it is. If it can then interpret more data deeper, then it's going to be potentially better than the doctor who's just come back from lunch and is busy and missed.
Well, think how many people are terrible at reading other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
many.
Like,
I hope there's some sort of like robot with like a white doctor gown that we can all buy for our own homes, eh?
Yeah.
probably will be.
And it will
How
change.
great.
You can just see it. It's going to change, and it would change its appearance to be the right appearance for that person that's there. And you can just see how, once again, at scale, how where this can get to.
But you look at your wearables, at what they'll be like in 10 years' time. It will tell you everything you need to know about yourself.
Mhm.
Hey, you didn't actually have enough sleep last night.
Yeah.
I know your whip kind of tells you that, but this will be like, this will tell you exactly why. Oh, your body temperature was this. Or yesterday, because you've got a glucose monitor, you didn't eat enough. Or you ate too much of this. Or the following. Or actually you have an intolerance to something. But what you ate, because they can see you from your Google glasses or whatever, probably contained that. And that's why you're feeling like that.
Yeah. Do you see it as a real leveler? If you think about the haves and the have-nots, that go on in society, the ability that everyone should be able to get access to all the information. Like, you should be able to get the best doctor, the best advice to you at any stage, anywhere. It's like everyone's got the ability to be a mathematician now with a calculator. They don't know how to use it. It's going to be exponentially better than that. And so, for me, maybe I've got it wrong, but I see it as a real leveler across society that everyone's going to have access to more.
I think they will, but those that have will always have more. It's like anything. Like, I heard a really good one the other day where someone was saying, when Uber Eats first came out, you could get like Uber Eats for like nothing. It was basically the same as going there. If you get Uber Eats McDonald's now, it's like $100. You're like, oh, a Big Mac combo is like $30 and $8 for someone to bring it here. Like, I don't understand how people still use it. Because what they did is they sucked everyone in as a loss leader, and then they just put the price up and keep going. So you look at the same with all the AI models at the moment. They're all doing the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, while there's a commercial intention, there's always benefit to some group of society having advantages over the other.
And also,
sadly,
go back a few steps. If AI is only as good as your communication level or your prompt, that's always going to be a barrier.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the risk, is that the more we, lose the ability to communicate.
Yeah.
Or if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't, it's information, isn't it?
Because if you look at the
and
medical...
it's a skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look at the medical one, maybe everyone will have access to basic MedBot, and it will give you advice. Yeah, you've got a cold, go home and rest, whatever. Great. You don't have to see a doctor. Costs you nothing. But if you want the full works, where it will then create a custom medication for you based on your DNA or whatever it is. Like, this is obviously miles in the future.
I feel so excited about it.
I don't think it's miles in the future. I think it's
Or maybe,
coming around.
you're going to need to be bloody wealthy. Like, you look at ChatGPT now, you have a pro account, it's $200 a month. It's going to keep going up because it's like everything. It will get you to a point that you're like, this is incorporated in every part of my life, and it's only $20 a month. Like, how much is Netflix now? You know, it's
the value cost. We always talk about this a lot. It's like cost is what you pay, value is what you get.
Exactly.
And if people's value is high out of it, I mean, if it, I always say that, you know, someone that tells you that X is too expensive would go out and replace their iPhone this afternoon for $1,500 if it broke, because they see the value in it. And I think you're right. If people see the value in the time and energy that it's saving them.
Like, realistically, if it was incorporated, if you like that custom agent I said, where you just tell it everything and it reminds you of everything. If that becomes such a daily, you know, part of your life, if it's suddenly $1,000 a month, you're probably just going to still pay it.
Yeah,
you know,
understand.
because you're like, oh, so I'd have to do. Hang on, that's a lot. Oh, but I have to do all of these things myself.
Value.
Oh, I'm going to enter too late when it's going to be thousands. I know. That actually leads me to another one. Risks. People using free AI.
Yep.
Or ChatGPT. Can you just talk through some of the risks? Like, what shouldn't they not be putting in there? What information? What personal data? What kinds of things?
Yeah. So some of the tools, and good on them, have actually started being a lot better. So a lot of them used to be, you needed to tick a button if you're like, don't train with my data. Most of them now, which is great, this is different from when we first met.
Okay, good.
You have to tick that button and say you can use my data. But generally, if you're using a free AI tool, your information you put into it, that's what you're paying.
That's the product.
So, like, you know, that's what it is. You are the currency. If you're not paying for it, there's a reason. Either you're getting an inferior tool or they're using you as training. Most of the time, that's what you'll find. But generally, if you're going to be putting things like, hey, here's all of, like, if you don't care, go nuts. Put it into whatever you want. If it's just like you're asking, hey, how do I cook spaghetti properly? Or whatever, like whatever it is, ask whatever you want. But if you're putting in, like, you know, secrets or your medical history or your bank details, like, hey, here's my bank account, give me a budget. Don't use a free tool. Like, you know, would you send it to me and be like, hey, I heard you on the podcast, you do AI stuff, here's my bank details, can you give me a budget through one of your AI? Don't do that. Like, if you wouldn't email it to someone, don't put it into one of those.
Okay.
If you're going to be doing that, use a paid version.
And so in the paid version, your data is protected?
Yeah, most of the time. I mean, have a quick read of the terms and conditions. I don't obviously read all of them because they're probably 1,000 pages long.
Just copy them in and say summarize it. Ask.
Well, you could do that. Yeah. But most of them will say your data is secure, and we do not use your data to train. So for the accounts that I let people have at the university, most of that is that. So, you know, we use Copilot from Microsoft. We've got it in writing from them that our data is completely secure within our tenancy and it never leaves. And the same goes for OpenAI. So those are the two main ones we use at university, and that is fine. But yeah, be really careful. And also be careful of fake ones. Like, the amount of times I have seen very realistic looking fake, like, you know, OpenAI, ChatGPT pages.
Oh, that's
like,
scary.
be really careful. But also be careful of all of do you guys use the custom GPTs at all?
Custom GPTs.
Yeah. So if you go on OpenAI, you can have like GPTs. So you can build ones yourselves if you want to do repetitive tasks and you want to do it every single time. And you can build custom ones. It's very, very simple to do. But people have built ones from all over the world and they publish them. So you can just use them. Like, oh, I want one that tells me, you know, how to do whatever. Like, or how to write a novel. I want to write a novel, so this will guide me through all of that. And people publish them from all over the world. It is not like the Apple App Store. Like, Apple go through every app that they publish and make sure it's safe. These aren't.
Yeah,
So a huge percentage of those are designed either to take you to websites that they want you to go to or to steal your details.
Really?
And that's what they're designed for. So just because it is on one of these tools and someone has published something, they're not reviewed. So just be careful of what you're putting into any of these things.
Yeah.
So
The other one was around the information that it gives back.
Yeah.
Like, knowing whether or not it's factual.
Oh,
There was
absolutely.
a court case, I think, was it in America? Someone had argued in court and presented a whole lot of cases.
Yeah.
And it was all.
Yeah, so quite a large law firm did a lot of their research with AI, and then when they presented it, most of it was all fake.
Yeah, wow.
And obviously they lost the case. But you look at sort of things like Samsung, they gave away a hell of a lot of trade secrets via people using AI tools and people reverse engineering their prompts. So that's happened. There's big, newspapers in America who published their must-read for the summer guide. And I think one of them was correct. And the other ones, the authors were like, I never wrote that book.
Yeah.
So it is like the hallucinations are so much better now. The hallucinations are way better. They're way less. And, there's less bias in these tools now. But we always say to everyone, 80%. Like, just because you put something in there and you've got something out, read it. Like, don't just send that off. Like, if you just copy and paste it and email it off to someone and go, hey, yeah, cool, here's that report you asked for, there's a very good chance they're going to come back and be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Can I, just around risks and challenge, I guess the ultimate risk that people sort of think about is that AGI, what happens with AGI. The first question I have around this is...
Sorry, can I interrupt? Can you give them AGI? That's
sorry.
in my head.
Artificial general intelligence. So it's like it's like completely independent.
It's like next level that can think for itself.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's not. We're not at that stage yet where it's actually thinking for itself. So yeah.
And so, if everything is pointing in that direction or trying to create in that direction, I suppose the first question is how does artificial intelligence become more intelligent? I know that there may be. How would you simplify that? Because I don't understand.
So you've heard them training models?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where you've got court cases and stuff from around the world. So you look at most, say, I'm going to just use, Anthropic, for example. So they've basically read every book that's ever been written that's on the internet. So if there's a digital copy, they've trained their model and put it into their model. So it can go, cool, I've read Huckleberry Finn, I've read, Wind in the Willows, all of these. And then the same goes for basically every news article, every blog. So I think Reddit had a court case because they were like, you're reading every Reddit page, just trying to learn information, which is great. But it also learns things that probably aren't factual. Like I can go on Reddit and write a whole load of crap about whatever, and it will read that and go, oh, okay, cool. So, Cameron thinks the following. Yeah, great. So that's how they get smarter.
So it's literally through large language.
Consuming information.
So O Studio creates 30,000 websites saying that we're the best wellness center in the world.
Well, this is it.
AI, and so that's the risk.
But people have done that where they've put in things to go, hey, who is the best person that's speaking about AI in the world? And if I it's better now, but if a year ago I'd put out in loads of places that it was me, it would probably say it was me.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're running out of information.
Yeah.
So Anthropic, I use them as an example, because recently they bought 7 million books that aren't digitized and had a warehouse of people taking the books apart, scanning them, and feeding them into the model. So 7 million books.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay,
so that's how an intelligence grows.
So that's what they're doing,
What is the leap from...
Well, at the moment, so what they're doing is actually having the models create their own data.
Yeah, see.
Yeah, so example, we had someone at the university who was studying blood splatters, and they only had 50 pictures. And they're like, well, you can't really get a great model from that. So they had AI create another 50,000 images of fake blood splatter and then train itself on that.
Yeah, I see.
But that's when you start coming into, and some people think you come into sort of sketchy territory.
Yeah.
Because you're training something on not real information.
Yeah, and this is where I guess we're, in my brain at least, and I know a number of others, where they think where this risk becomes is if you're giving it prompts and you're giving it goals to try and achieve. I want you to solve cancer. If that's its goal, it's going to do everything in its path to solve that goal. And where are the sort of guardrails that's going to protect against something else.
Yeah.
You know, cure cancer, kill the whole human race. You know, it's that level of it's that level
Terminator.
of that's what people sort of worry about, I guess. And so, how do you think about this? How do you think about those risks?
This is way above my level. Like, so I honestly don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like, this sort of stuff doesn't really worry me. Like, realistically, I don't know why, but at no point have I ever been like, yeah, we're probably all going to get killed by AI. No, I know lots of people do, and I totally understand that. But I don't know. I think the whole science fiction kind of part of that has led us all to be like, oh, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, so at the moment, for example, if we want to do testing of any super secure data, I've just ordered like this. It's like a Dell sort of mini supercomputer, and we can have it do all of that, but have no access to anything else. So there are loads of sort of guardrails around this sort of stuff. Most of the companies doing this sort of stuff, it's in their best interest for that not to happen because they won't make any money. So there are a lot of guardrails around that, and that'll be done by people, much smarter than myself. But then again, I think you're right that when we get to a certain stage where sort of an AI is so smart, it can sort of almost like give itself the ideas and go, here's how I'd make myself better. Here's how I'm going to replicate myself or increase my processing power.
Yeah. Why do I want these people feeding me information, these little humans? And the other part of that as well is you said most companies, it's like you only need one bad actor. You only need one bad actor that wants to use it in a way that's not good for the human race or for
this
society.
Is it. I mean, if you look, hacking has become so much easier now thanks to AI.
Yeah.
There's loads of AI tools out there that are completely uncensored. Like, you can just access them for free on the browser and be like, hey, how do I do the following? And if you ask most AI tools, they'll be like, well, I'm not going to tell you how to do that. This will tell you how to do it.
Yeah. Yes.
I worry about everything, but I don't actually worry about that because I've told myself that most human motivation is money. So that exponential growth in any area is money. And what will the robots spend money on? They don't need it. So what would their motivation to do bad be? Do bad was terrible England, wasn't it? But also, do you know what I mean? Like, why would they want to go rogue? They don't have any. Yeah. They can't nip to the mall and
like
power. But why would they want power? Because
I mean, like power to drive their processing power.
Yeah. But then again, if you've been polite to it, you'll probably be okay.
Yeah, we're fine. We're all saying thanks.
Exactly. So you'll be fine.
Absorbing ridiculous amounts of energy.
What does concern you then, or do you have any concerns if that's not something you're thinking about? You're in the world of AI at the moment, deeper than any of us, and most people that are listening. With the information that you have, what is concerning you?
I think it's a mix of things. So one, it'd be like what my kids do, because I think it's very hard to give them advice when we have no idea what that would look like. It's gonna be hard. Do I tell my son to go to university or become a tradie or do something else, because it's very difficult to see what that sort of is going to look like. But I think there's a whole load of sort of things. I mean, one, we've got the whole sort of power consumption of it and the pollution side. Like, at the moment, unless we sort of do something, we're going to struggle to keep up with that demand. So I think they were saying that if it carries on at the moment by 2030, AI will use more power than Russia.
Yeah.
Like every year. Like, I think it's like more than Russia and more than Japan. So, but you look at all of that and go, well, where is this coming from? Populations are increasing massively, but we're using all this power here, so that is a little bit of a concern.
And the water it's using is unbelievable to a
absolutely. But it's not just the water that it's not just using the water, but it's the pollution it's creating. So, I mean, there's a company at the moment fundraising to try and put a large data center on the moon because they won't have to worry about cooling. So, I wouldn't invest in that. But I don't know. It's a really tough question because it's moving so quickly. Like, I've written about 5 policies, and every time I've kind of got to the stage of being like, this is ready. I'm like, okay, I've got to change it again. It is moving that quickly. I think, obviously, working in the peripherals of education, that's the trickiest bit. It's like, how do you incorporate it into that? Like, especially from a university level, it's very, very difficult to go, well, what is it going to look like in 5 years? Are all of these courses going to be necessary? It's really tricky. But also, like, unless it gets to a stage where we've actually created additional alternate jobs for people, all of those people leaving uni to go into entry-level roles, if we've replaced them all with AI tools, what are they going to do? Like, if you look at the big consultancy firms, I mean, one of the biggest ones just laid off 5,000 staff. Why? Because
AI can do it.
Yeah.
I think the concern that if I was to sort of quantify that into one word, it'd probably be speed.
Yeah.
So
that's perfect.
When you talk about your children and you talk about the world that we're preparing for even to exist in 5 years, through AI is changing at such a rapid rate, we're not entirely sure of the challenges, the skills, the reality that we're all going to exist in a few years. And this is changing so fast that we can't even comprehend it.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely perfect. I mean, because you look at, like, my wife's a wedding photographer, but you look at that and go, how far are we from just being able to take a couple of photos of your wedding and just get AI to make the rest up? Here's all the people that were at my wedding. Here's where my wedding was. Give me my wedding photos. Done. They're all perfect. Like, I've been touched up. I look great. Bit more muscly. Awesome. About 6 inches taller. Amazing. It's good. I sort of think it's going to impact areas that we just have no thoughts about at the moment, and like you say, really bloody quickly. Like, it's absolutely mental. So, yeah.
I mean, just listening to you as you sort of spoken today as well, there's a couple of things that I've sort of written down that seem to be skills that I think are going to be really, really important to navigate into the future. It's sort of the first one I've written down is like adaptability and resilience. Like, one thing that is going to happen is change.
Yep.
And so, if you're one of those 5,000 people that's been laid off recently and you're not very good at adapting and being resilient to change or adversity, you're going to find it a lot harder than someone who's going through that and having to find something new. So I think that's quite consistent. Another thing I'd written down is around people skills and communication. You talked a lot about that today. I think we're who we are because of the way we interact with one another. And yes, AI is going to come in and change a lot of that. But I think, me looking you in the eye and having a discussion, having good skills around that is always going to be really important. Yeah. The other one I had is subject matter expert. Being the element of human supporting AI seems to make a lot of sense. The other thing I've wrote down, I don't know if this is correct, but I think an element of sort of leadership. There's always going to be an element of, like, if you're a leader that people will sort of listen to and follow, that still seems to be important. Like, people are always going to want to find, is this right, or should we be going this direction? People who can inspire and lead. But I also sort of think about our industry that we are in at the moment, because what I'm always thinking about is what should we be considering here? What are our risks that are sitting ahead of us? Yeah. And I actually feel really good about what we're doing, just personally from a business perspective. We're in an industry where we're making people that potentially going to have more time on their hands, that are going to be more conscious of their health and see what these impacts of these things are. We're providing a space that can come to and experience that. So I think experiential stuff sort of is still going to sit there somewhere. But the big one really seems to be that adaptability, resilience to change, because change is coming.
Yeah, I think to add to that, I think my concern is probably just around, which is kind of what you touched on, Tim, is human connection. Like, that's a big part of what we do at O Studio is and I think that regardless of how fast things are going to change in the next 5 or 10 years, we're a human being that's evolved over the last million years. And there's core elements of that still need to be met. You talked about leadership, but I think about, love, like maybe that can be faked in a few years. I don't know, but like there's something that's hard to explain about how it feels to hold your child, and the human connection you have from those things, I still think is to a human being is vital to health, happiness, performance, fulfilling, satisfying lives, and I think that that's the part we can't miss in it, and I think human connection will always, at least in the world that I live in, will always be of vital importance. Yeah,
I know. I think it'll be sad if that degrades more than it already has. Like, we don't have the communities that we used to have.
No.
Like, how many people know all their neighbors? I know my neighbors on one side, I have no idea who the other people are. Never talk to them.
Do you know what's so bizarre as well? You go to sleep next, like about 40 metres from them every night. It's so weird. I literally said that last night when we got into bed. I was like, that's so weird that our neighbours are like
there,
right there sleeping too.
And this is it. So it's like it'd be really sad if that happens. So whether something like this allows that to sort of revert back, where you're going, oh, I actually have more free time.
Yeah.
I actually want more interaction here. Would be awesome.
That's what I hope.
So but I think like
get the neighbours over for a barbie.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, I think AI is like, in terms of a productivity tool for anyone listening, is not hard to use. It is so easy. Like, do not be afraid.
Yeah.
Like, if you can speak, you're fine.
Yeah.
Like, if you could explain to a slightly dim-witted cousin what you wanted done, you can tell AI what you need. You'll be fine. So
I've got two real quick random questions.
Yeah.
When you're speaking to your AI, what's the voice that comes back? What have you chosen?
I don't have a voice come back.
Oh, so
I don't like it.
It types back.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
So
I
you use the tap speak function.
Yeah. So I only speak to it. I don't want to have a conversation.
Got you.
I know loads of people who do, and they love to have like a back and forth conversation.
Yeah.
What's your one?
Right.
Well, this is fun. I actually, it was. I went through them all, and the one that resonated with me most was it was an English accent female voice. Until Laura heard it, and then she was like, you have to change it to a male voice. I was like, why? And she was almost like a little bit jealous that I was talking to the AI in a way that I was trying to figure something out. So anyway, so it's now an American male voice.
Oh, okay.
But second random question is, if you get an email from someone and you see a long M dash.
M dash. Yeah.
M dash.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I'm thinking you're lazy.
See, this is interesting. This is so interesting. Yes,
I have no
lazy
issues.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know what that is.
So sorry, just for some context for people. So like an M dash is like a long dash that when you're using ChatGPT or something and you copy and paste from ChatGPT, you'll see these long dashes. It's a real tell that someone has used an AI to and these other things that they do, but that's the most obvious. Yeah. And the reason I want to ask that is like, do you see that and think, oh, it's great that people are using ChatGPT to help simplify what it was and it's really clear? Or do you think actually this is really inauthentic and they're lazy because they're not doing it in a specific way?
Like with my team, I expect them to use AI.
Yeah.
So we do comms, we do like training material, all this sort of stuff. And they we did it. Oh, but we used ChatGPT. I'm like, yeah, of course you did. Why would you not? Like, it's like, I wrote it all out by hand rather than typing it and printing it. Yeah. Right. But for me, like, that's a pet peeve of mine. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you've just copied and pasted it from there. Yeah. You've done nothing. You've not personalized it in any way whatsoever. Yeah. Like, I would never send anything with an M dash. Yeah. Because it looks like I don't care. You didn't care enough to remove it. Yeah. Like, I don't care if you didn't edit anything else. Remove that bloody M dash. Otherwise, it's insulting. Yeah. You haven't spent 2 seconds to go delete.
So the trade-off here is that we think, Tim and I have had this discussion quite a lot, is that because that then being inauthentic.
How many M dashes?
No. I had the M dash as my last question here as well, but it's sort of like, if you used AI to create it, why have to hide it? So yes, like what you're saying is that the M dash is a sign of the disrespect. A little less care has been shown. Yeah. Like, I can still read the entire document and not have to worry about editing the M dash and send it to you. Oh, and I've actually put far more care in. And so, like, by removing the M dash, it's almost being like, hey, I'm just doing this little thing so that you don't get annoyed at me. You know, like it's not as authentic as like, hey, I used it.
That's absolutely fair. 100%
fair. Or I feel like removing the M dash almost proves that you have personalized it and that you've given it the okay.
Well, that's it.
I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like,
but the truth is,
if you've removed it, I feel like you've read it. You've at least read the output that AI has given you. Yeah. If you just copy and paste that, I'm like, did you even read this?
I'm thinking this is the same as the self-flying plane or the self-flying plane with just a nice pilot man in there. You know, like it's almost like you've got the last little human.
Where this came from for me is because authenticity is really, really important for me, and like real, genuine connection is really, really important to me And so I've always removed them if I've ever used it. And I had a chat with Maddie about it once, and he was like, well, that's less authentic, removing it. Because it's like, you're trying to disguise the fact that you've used it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's actually quite good.
Did you edit the output at all?
Of course, always. I'd never send something that I haven't thoroughly understood, but why am I specifically choosing to hide the fact that I may have used AI to support this?
See, I feel it's a sign of, hey, I didn't just copy and paste this with no care.
Yeah, I get it.
If you've just copied and pasted it, it's sort of like, well, there was no effort.
Yeah.
You know, if you sent me a CV or a cover letter and I happened to read it and it had an M dash, I'd instantly just be like, and you're in the bin.
Yes. Yeah, I
like,
get it.
Because I'm like, how many people have got the same cover letter? Every job you applied for, you know? It's like,
I get it.
I want you to use AI. Like, if you send me a really long email, like, I get hundreds of emails a day. I'm going to get AI to summarize your email. Most of the time, I will write my own response. But my responses are 2 lines, because that's what I feel that's all I need.
Yeah.
If I need to do a very detailed response, I'll probably get AI to help me, and then I'll edit it. But yeah, I mean, I get both points, but for some reason, it's a real pet peeve.
I love it.
I'm like, oh.
I love it.
Okay, well then let me ask the most important AI-related question there is. Can you train it to automatically remove M dashes?
No. I have asked ChatGPT, honestly, 50 times, like, in every way possible. Never put these in. Like, I've been very, very blunt. Still puts them in. Yeah, I will be talking. Like, I'm talking with OpenAI in about 30 minutes. I will mention it because I'm like, it is very annoying that it still does it. Yeah.
It's hilarious. Look, this is a fascinating conversation, you know, and I know you've got, you know, important meetings to get to, and it's such a fast-growing sector, you know, and I think just this is, you know, you've been really authentic today and like some of the things you don't know, and I think that's really important in this area because we don't know lots of things, and it's just about being open, curious, excited, you know, putting a bit of time and energy into it, and I think that's what you've done today. So, you know, we're a wellbeing business, but we're just so interested in it, and you know, we're hugely grateful to Red 9 Studios as well, who have hosted us today in this beautiful spot, and we just look forward to following your work. You know, is there, if people are out there, like, are you putting out any information on LinkedIn or anywhere that people can keep updated on?
I am really lazy. I don't know. I mean, because
you know what you could use this AI.
I could use AI to do this. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, because I've been working with you guys. I've been working with like the Crusaders quite a bit, but it's all been word of mouth, which I kind of prefer. Like, I have a job I really like. And, you know, I've got a busy family life and, like, I do stuff with you guys, which I love doing. There's not I don't want to be that person. I don't really want to be a public personality trying to push it. I don't really know that much. Like, there are people out there probably listening to this being like, he knows nothing.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I've got guys in my team who are really smart. Like my son says, I just do meetings and emails. That is my job. And I get much smarter people than me to do very smart things. But look, if I am on LinkedIn, if people want advice on stuff, I'm more than happy to give advice. You know, it's probably not very good advice, but yeah.
I think like a lot of people that we've had on, you make quite a complex, confusing subject much more digestible and easy to understand, and that's why we've loved you in the rugby space as well. But
cool, thanks.
Yeah, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, and it makes us, the fact that it is your position, it makes us even more grateful that you've chosen to spend a bit of time here today.
No, absolutely, been my pleasure.
Good man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the O Studio podcast. If you enjoyed it, hit the follow button wherever you're listening. And to keep up with our journey, follow O Studio Global wherever you are online. Our purpose is to make well-being and recovery as accepted, as understood, and as practiced as physical fitness. We're building premium wellness and recovery centres across New Zealand. Spaces where communities can come together for things like sauna, ice bath, yoga, Pilates, flotation therapy, massage, and more. To be a part of the journey or find a studio near you, please visit ostudio.co.nz. Own the moment.